First, I want to thank everybody for coming and joining. Um, before before you guys, before I start the presentation, I just want to let you guys know I'm a newbie at this. This is actually my first presentation, and I tried to combine all my my slides together, and it didn't work. So I'm gonna have to go back and forth, which I hope you guys don't mind. Good morning from New York. Hi, Kylie. So let me share screen. And we're gonna start with, let's be kind and courteous. This is a judge-free zone. Please mute yourself while someone is talking. If you have questions, by all means, put them in the chat, or we can wait till after and you can ask whatever questions you want. The first thing that we're going to be going over today is a little bit about me. This book that we have on screen right now is called Never Alone. I was super blessed with this book. I was asked to speak at a women's conference in 2020, and at the day of they were presenting the book to me, my publisher told me that I don't have to pay for the ISBN number. I don't have to pay for the cover photo. That, you know, God reached out to Kaisha and told her, you know, this is what I want you to do for her. I want you to pay for it, and I want you to allow her to publish it so people can hear her story. So that's how I came upon my book. It is for sale on Amazon for $14.99. Disclaimer: the following content may contain sensitive or triggering material that may cause distress or discomfort. If you are triggered or you feel overwhelmed, please feel free to take a break. I sometimes, when I'm speaking, have to take a break. Although this, most of the things that I've gone through were in my earlier life, and I still get a little choked up and have to stop and take a break. So by all means, please do so if you need to. I also have my presentation written down next to my slides. I couldn't figure out how to take them off. So my introduction is: my life has been a journey full of up and downs. From my childhood to adulthood, I have overcome many challenges and achieved great success. Join me as we take a closer look into my story. My early life. Okay, so from the ages of two to about 12, my father kidnapped me when I was about 2.5 from my mother, who, you know what, actually, let me go into the present mode. Sorry about that, y'all. That's better. Apologize about that. My father kidnapped me from my mother out here in California and took me back to New Mexico. At the age of 3, my dad was far gone, like in addiction with drugs. He did anything that was in front of him, alcohol, and he started trafficking me at a couple of months after the age of 3, and so he can have his fix, you know, whether it was heroin, crack, his alcohol habit, whatnot. And it started with, like, you know, minor things, not minor, but like smaller sexual favors, like oral sex. My dad got reported when I was 5. He went to prison. He got 4 years in prison, and with good time, he did 2. And all he had to do to get me back was to take parenting classes. He completed the parenting classes and got me back from an aunt who raised me. while he was incarcerated. About 6 years old, it all started all over again, except the sexual favors got deeper and deeper, where he started allowing penetration and having me do sexual favors to uncles, cousins, friends. At the age of 7, he started teaching me how to roll tobacco. At the age of 9, I graduated to rolling weed for him. I would go to school with, I've had a busted head, I've had a broken wrist, cuts, from him telling me to choose, the weapon to get a beating with, which was an extension cord, which was a tree branch. So I would go to school with welts, cuts, bruises, whatnot, and they would ask me, like, what happened? And the fear that my dad pumped in me was like, it wasn't like, I'll kill you if you tell somebody. It was more like, that I love you so much, and if you tell anybody what's going on in our house, they're going to take you away from me, and that nobody loves you like I love you. And so that was the kind of fear that was pumped in me, because my dad was all I knew. I wasn't allowed to, like, go to family functions. I couldn't go on vacation. I didn't know. I had my first birthday party by a drunk aunt when I was 14. So I didn't get to do all the, 4th of July and Easter or whatnot. So I didn't have anybody. I had my dad, and I had the perpetrators, who were at times kind to me, when they weren't involving themselves with me. So they would ask me, and the teachers would ask me what's going on, and I would say, I climbed the roof and I fell, or, I fell off my bike, or I always had an excuse to protect my father. When I was 12, I couldn't take much more of it anymore. I had already tried committing suicide at the age of 10. I hung myself in my closet, and, excuse my language, but the damn bar that holds your clothes, it was metal, and it broke. I don't know how, but when I jumped, I fell with it. And I got the beating of a lifetime for that, even though nobody knew about it, my father said, I'm bringing attention to the house. So at 12, the school counselor asked me again, never forget her, Fabi Tafoya, amazing woman, asked me what happened, and I just broke it down to her. I spilled every secret. I said everything that goes on in the house, who comes in and out. I gave names. I just laid it all out for her. And little did I know that there was a CPS worker in the next room waiting for me. And she asked me, she goes, I have a social worker here, and I'm not asking you to tell her everything. I'll break it down so you don't have to say it again. But I want you to tell her a little bit. So Jan Wilson, the other amazing woman in my life, asked me, I told her a little bit, and she says, okay, let's go. And I said, where are we going? She goes, I'm going to take you to your house. And I told her, in the beginning, that I don't want to go back home, that I want to be far away as I can. And she goes, don't worry, just trust me. And my thing is I trust everybody, most let me down, some don't. So I was really skeptical about trusting her, because I couldn't trust any adult in my life, not even my own family that knew what was going on. They knew that my dad was selling me, and their answer for not reporting it was that they didn't want to be involved. And it's okay. It's okay. Everybody has the right and their choices to make. So anyways, Jan starts driving me to my house, and I'm scared, and she's like, stay in the car and lock the door. So as we pull up, the cops pull up, and they knock on the door and my dad's there with the beer in his hand and smoking weed, and they, tell him to turn around and handcuff him, and they're like, what did you tell him? What are you doing? You're making a mistake. Susa, what are you telling me? But he's telling me all this in Spanish and telling me that if I don't take back, I don't even know how he knew if I said anything, but if I don't take back what I've said, that he's going to go away for a long time and I'm never going to get to see him again. So be it. They arrested him. I got placed in an aunt's care, which I didn't say anything about an uncle that was abusing me at that time. And I ended up going to live with an uncle, and he was doing things by my bedside, like masturbation. And I reported that. So from there, I went to foster homes, group homes, institutions, escaped from institutions, ran away from group homes. I felt more comfort back then, like group homes and institutions aren't anything like they are out here in California. Out there in New Mexico, it's lockdown facilities. They didn't care about the individual. Kind of just basically let you be on your own anyway. So I was like, what for do I need to be here? I can do it on my own. So first time literally living on the streets, I was 14 years old, ran away from the group home. Met some random strangers and got drunk with them. Didn't have nowhere to go. So I'm like, yeah, let's go, in the back of your truck and let's party. Drank a little bit too much. My alcohol level was 2.2, ended up in the hospital with alcohol poisoning. My caseworker, my social worker showed up, and I was tied to the bed. And from there, they put me in a lockdown facility, and wasn't much fun in there. I had a lot of mental health when I was young. I was very angry. Lack of trust from just anybody really in general besides my social worker. And so here I go into this institution where anytime I misbehaved or I had a loud outburst, they would send their orderlies to, tackle me down and carry me to a bed and remove all my clothes up until my underwear and lay me stomach down flat with my hands, tied down with leather straps, my ankles spread apart with leather straps, and then the leather strap across my back, my lower back, tying me down, and then injecting me with Thorazine. I would be out for at least 24 hours. And if I wouldn't say that I'm going to behave, they would keep me strapped up without eating, without a drink of water. So even though I felt like I wasn't going to be okay, I had to just so I can get a bite to eat, so I can quench my thirst. How I got out of that situation was something I've been planning for a long time. Was I knew we were going on an outing, and you can't go on an outing unless you have excellent behavior. So I made sure to do everything I could in order to go on this outing so I can be gone from this facility. Went on the outing to a place called The Beach in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it's a man-made beach. And sure enough, they let us wander off on our own, and me and this girl took off. Lived on the streets, got high, got drunk, raped, beat up for the little belongings that I had, whether it was $2 or a backpack and they don't even know what was in it. After being on the streets for a little while, I started getting sick, and I ended up coming down with, I don't remember anymore if it's a bacteria or what, but it's called C. diff. And it put me in the hospital where I was just weak. I was doing nothing but throwing up. And So I reached out to my social worker and said, okay, I need help. I can't be on the streets no more. I can't do this. So she found me a place in San Marcos, Texas, called San Marcos Treatment Center, something Brown. I don't remember anymore. And I was in there for a year, from 17 to 18. And again, the system failed me. When I was 18, what they did was literally hand me an SSI check, bought me a plane ticket back from Texas to New Mexico, and just let me be. I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't have no one I could rely on. My family was just messed up. So I ended up moving in with an aunt who was addicted to meth. It was called crank back then. And basically right there, my addiction started heavy. Smoking crack, doing meth, trying heroin. At 18, I got pregnant with my 3-year-old son. Sorry. Forgive me. I was in a very abusive relationship at the time, and his father would, when I would ask him not to leave, and I was young and dumb and immature, and I would stand in front of the door so he wouldn't leave, and he would throw me to the ground and start kicking me in my stomach. And at that time he was with somebody else and cheating on me. And I had my son, and he didn't go to the hospital with me, to watch his son being born. Instead, taking a shower and go seeing some friends was more important. So I did this on my own. Didn't have nowhere to go with my son. We were homeless. We were staying in shelters. I wasn't well educated enough to get a job somewhere. I didn't have anybody to even watch my son. So when I was 20, I've always wanted to be in the entertainment industry, whether it's being a backup dancer for Snoop Dogg, or acting, or just commercials, magazines, whatever. It was always been my passion and my dream. And so I came across this what do you call it? Audition for the movie Wild Wild West, with Salma Hayek and Will Smith. And I did my audition, whatnot. They took my measurements, and they didn't accept me as an extra, but they said, if we decide to, get you as a stand-in, we'll give you a call in a day or two. The whole day went by, nothing. The next day went by, nothing. Then the second day came, and it was 4 something in the afternoon. I got a call, and they said that they, accepted me as a stand-in for Salma Hayek and as her body double. And I was so ecstatic. And I called my stepmom, the one that was raising me while my dad was in prison. And I told her about it, and she's like, bring JJ, bring him here and I'll watch him. Our first shooting was going to be in Old Pecos in New Mexico, and I had to be there August 18th at 6 in the morning. And so at the shelter, I have a cousin with me, and trying to figure out how I'm going to get a ride to get my son over there. And out of nowhere, my cousin comes and says, hey, I found a ride. And little did I know that this ride was stolen. I didn't know this until after. Anyways, we're driving. I say, let's stop. Let's put gas. Let's stop at the liquor store. And I buy 5 different types of hard liquor and 3 different types of malt liquor. And, the guy's driving. I'm in the back seat with my son, drinking and having a good time. And then him and my cousin want to, Mac or whatever. So I was like, okay, I can drive. And they're like, are you sure? You've been drinking? I said, no, I'm good. Mind you, by the way, I've always been the designated driver for anybody. I'd rather save a life than take one. So we're driving and this guy repeatedly asked me, he says, I'm going too fast. He's like, let me drive. I want to drive now. You just kick back and relax and have a good time. And I was like, no, I'm good. And I kept refusing. And the only thing I remember from, or one thing I remember from this is I remember looking down and to see how fast I was going. And I was going 105 on a 65 on a windy road. And I panicked. I couldn't slow down the car enough to turn the corner. So I slammed on the brakes and we went flipping down a mountain. I just hear myself crying to my cousin, where's my son? Where's JJ? I don't know. I can't find him. Pretty sure I was super, super drunk, in and out of consciousness. And the next thing I hear is the helicopters. And I'm asking them about, I'm asking them about my son, and they're telling me that he's fine, but, we need to take care of you. And when we flipped, this part of my body went forward and my leg tangled up like in between the two seats and the back. So I was kind of pinned down like this on my shoulder. I have a big scar here. I don't have a collarbone anymore. I was pinned down into the gear shifts. So they had to use the jaws of life to get me out and cut off the bar. Because when they tried pulling me, they said my body was going into shock. So they had to cut it off the bar and remove it at the hospital. Get to the hospital and I'm asking about my son, and they keep telling me that he's okay, that, he's fine. Don't worry about him. And, I just need to rest and whatnot. My aunt comes in, the one I moved in with when I was 18, the addict. She comes in and she brings me, a root beer, snacks, M&Ms, whatnot. And I ask her about JJ. She goes, what do you mean? They haven't told you? And I said, what do you mean, tell me what? And I guess the doctors have specifically told her that I can, go into shock and possibly go into a coma in the condition that I was in. My head was busted open, wasn't doing well. And she decided to go against doctor's orders and tell me that my son wasn't going to make it, that he was in a coma. I started yelling and screaming, and the doctors came in and asked what happened, and I told them, and they ended up having to escort my aunt out. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. 3 weeks later, I went home. My son was still in the hospital. They told me it would be best if I went home and got some care from my mother. It's the same night I went home. They called me at 1:30 in the morning and told me that if I'm still interested in donating my son's organs, that I need to come to the hospital ASAP because his blood pressure was dropping. And once they lose the blood pressure, that his organs will be no good. The other option was they could put him on life support and he will survive, but he will be a vegetable for the rest of his life. Ironically, a 3-year-old little girl at, I think it was like 2:48, came in and was in a car accident. And I don't remember if it was her lung or kidney. It was like 23 years ago. Something got punctured, and my son was a perfect match for her. So as hard as it was for me to make a decision on letting my son go, I knew that that it was the right thing. I knew that he could save somebody else's life. So they let me spend a little bit of time with him in a room. And then I had to let him go. Second, please. Because of what I done and the harm I caused, both sides of my family turned their backs on me. I've had a hit on me from his dad. He pulled a gun on me. Got sentenced to. So back a little bit, that other guy that was with me, he also flew through the back window, and he also passed away. He was a 19-year-old gentleman. 2 months after the accident, I got sentenced to 12 years in the New Mexico Women's Correctional Facility. That was 6 years each life. I got charged for vehicular homicide and great bodily injury. I served 7 of those 12 years. And when I got out, it was just pretty much the same thing. I went back, except this time I had a reason. I had an excuse to get out, or so I thought. I think I might have maybe jumped a little bit, a little bit far up. So as far as education, I don't have any really. What I have is my lived experience. I flunked the 4th grade because of the amount of days that I missed. So, the end of the school year test, I flunked it. I got my butt beat severely because my dad said that I embarrassed him. I don't see how, honestly. Like, I couldn't go to school. So I had to repeat the 4th grade. And so 6th grade is the last grade that I actually completed. I never went to junior high, never went to high school. The only education that I have gotten is like taking peer trainings, or with my current job, like case management trainings, mental health, CPR, and trainings in addiction, like drug and alcohol counseling, whatnot. Full-blown addict from the age of 19 to 42. I used to be so embarrassed to admit that I was an addict, to even show a picture, to even show this picture. And you guys know that I thought at this time, I thought I was fly. Like, I thought nothing could touch me. I was like the hottest chick, and I've come to terms with accepting who I am and what I've been through, because my skeletons in my closet may not be yours and yours may not be mine, but we all have them. So, after I got out of prison, I went back to the streets, used to it, started selling drugs on the streets. In 2016, I was quote unquote rescued from a relationship that I was in. This guy would rape me in my behind while I was sleeping, and would never let me leave the house, never let me talk to anybody. One day he decides to get up and go somewhere, I don't know what, and I got on my bicycle and I took off and I went to Starbucks, and I was sitting there and literally like just I was crying, but silently, like just tears were falling down my cheeks. And this couple pulls up, and this blind man gets out, and he says, "Hey, sweetheart, are you okay?" And I don't know if he's talking to his wife or what, but his wife says, "He's talking to you." And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." He goes, "I don't think you are. I don't think you're fine." And kind of broke down a little bit to him what was going on at that moment in my life. And he literally just like picks up my bicycle and puts it in the back of his trunk. They take me to eat, and she's calling around and looking for domestic violence shelters. And the closest one that would accept me was in Ridgecrest out here in California. They took me there. I got like my first real job, which was at Walmart. From there, I moved in with a friend, got in various relationships that were just abusive. I had gotten a huge settlement at that point, like $25,000, and promised that I wasn't going to spend a dime of it on dope, alcohol, buying friends. And I did exactly the opposite. During that time, I met a very, very dear friend of mine. It started out as friends of benefits, and then we went into a relationship, and we were fine while we were getting high together. Then we both ended up in jail and decided to get help for ourselves. This was I got arrested December 10th, 2018, and we decided to get help for ourselves. Once we both got sober and we were doing well, we got an apartment or actually he bought me a car in 2019. I got my very own first apartment in 2020. In 2021, we weren't seeing eye to eye anymore. Things were different. We were completely opposite of what we were when we got together. But the good thing about this is we went our separate ways, as in relationship wise, but we stayed roommates. And let me tell you, like, Brian and I have been the bestest of friends. Like, we have gotten along. Everything just goes good for us. It's easy for us to share, bills, and, we just pretty much just share our money, kind of like if we're together, but we're not, we don't sleep together, nothing. We're just absolutely the bestest of friends. So in 2022, we upgraded from a studio apartment to a 2-bedroom. Give me a second. I think I'm go a little bit too I moved up a little bit too. In 2018, couldn't take it, and I got on my knees 4:30 in the morning, and I was just like, I can't do it no more. I need help. I'm tired of living on the streets. And at this point, I accepted that I'm okay. I'm okay being an addict. I'm okay being homeless. I had been on the streets for 36 years and been an addict for 36 years. I've become accustomed to the streets, and it was my comfort. It was my happy place, literally. And I was okay, if they found me dead, one day out there. December 10th, 2018, cried to God. I couldn't do it no more. 8:30 that morning, we got pulled over. Well, not literally pulled over, but we were cooking in a trash can on the sidewalk for breakfast, making noodles for breakfast. And the cops pulled us over and charged us with some BS. I'm not even going to go into it, but long story short, our attorney said that we took it to trial. She said, we're going to beat the trial, but what are you going to do? You're going to go back out to the streets. You're going to do the same shit all over again. And then you're going to be right back here. And I was like, I don't want to go to a program. No. I want to go back to the streets. And my only thought was I need to go hit that pipe again. Like, I had been without it for like 3 months, and no. So then at this time, me and Brian are still together, and he says, babe, let's just do it. What else do we got? If we go into a program, we got 3 meals a day on top of getting help and fixing ourselves. And it took a minute for him to convince me, but I finally said, okay, let's do it. I went into a program in Acton, California, was in there for 90 days. then came out to a 9-month outpatient program. And they said that if we complete this program, that our records will be expunged, that they will drop all charges and expunge it. Sure enough, surprised the heck out of me, let me tell you guys. I'm a person that starts something, or used to, that would start something and wouldn't finish it. Sometimes I still have that habit, but not so much. But I finished the program and I went to court and I got my certificate and I was sober. I had hit 1 year sobriety and I couldn't believe it. So then in 2022, we upgraded to the 2-bedroom apartment, and 2022, I also got my second vehicle, 2019. And now this year, God is good. This year I was blessed with, I'm a homeowner. I'm in equity, right? I'm in not equity. I'm in, what is it called? Oh crap, I forgot what it's called. I've been saying this word almost every day. Escrow. I'm in escrow right now, and closing is May 3rd. And I've been trying to get a home, buy a house for the longest of time, but I was lacking like a down payment. I was lacking closing costs. And my lender came across this program called CALFA, Dream for All. And 273,000 people were going to get blessed with a down payment and the closing costs. And as soon as my lender said, do this, do that, do this, do that, me and Brian were on it. Like, as soon as that paperwork came through, DocuSign. We didn't waste any time. And our lender told us a little story that, there was another couple that applied for this program. And he told them, you need to be on it because once the funds run out, you guys are going to be SOL. So they called him a day after Easter and he goes, the money's out. You'd rather go spend Easter with your family than purchase you a home, so unfortunately there's no funds. And I made it. I made that 273,000 out of all the billions of people in the world. I freaking made it. And now I'm going to be a homeowner. Just 4 years ago, I was accepting life on the streets. I accepted it. I was accepting to die out there. I was accepting not ever having a home and never becoming anything. And now I'm going to be a homeowner. I keep skipping it, jumping in. So 42 is the last time I ever used. In 2020, I found Share, and I did a retreat with them. I don't know why I did it. I think I just needed something to do, and don't even know how I found this program. Don't remember. But I did the 3-month training with Libby, and next thing you knew, like, I was qualified with my lived experience. I was qualified, to be a peer. So at this point, Share had sent me an email notifying me that PACS, short for Pacific Asian Counseling Services, was hiring. I had applied. I won't mention the agencies I applied at, but I had applied at another agency and I was denied. And I applied at PACS. I did the application immediately. As soon as the email came in, like, if I want something, I'm going to do it on the spot. I don't want to waste time. So filled out the application, and I got a first interview, and then I got a second interview. Hooey. And this is where I started building my career. February 16th, 2021, I was hired on. They were the ones that were willing to take a chance on me. They saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. I didn't feel like I was a valuable asset to anybody in life. All my life I went with, honestly, like, pity. Why me? Poor me. Why do I have to go through this? Why am I going through this? Now I know. And people ask me, would you ever change anything that you've gone through in your life? And my response is, forgive my language, but hell no. Why? Because my brother turned out to be just like my dad. You know, he does like bestiality and even tried being with me. And I always tell myself, if I wouldn't have been through what I've been through in life, I might have turned out just like my father and my brother. So this experience has humbled me. It has made me wholesome. And now I understand why I went through what I went through, because I hope I'm not sounding cocky, but I feel like I'm a damn good peer, a damn good case manager, and just all in all, a good person. And I do what I can to help others, especially if I have the knowledge to do it. With the help of my supervisor, which I really want to thank her for being here today. She's here to support me. She's in the session. She introduced me into the peer support specialist certification program. I was actually grandfathered into it, and with a scholarship. The first time I took my exam, it like closed out on me. It wouldn't let me get back in, and I stressed and worried and, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And my supervisor was like, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. She's always the one that can like calm me down, and she's just amazing. So we sent emails, and a month later I was able to retake my exam, and a lot had to wait 3 to 4 weeks to get the results, and for some odd reason I got my results on the spot. And now I would like to proudly say that I am California peer certified. Another part of my career is I've taken on the role as a house manager. It started with one house, then it went to 2, then it went to 3, then it went back down to 2, and now it's 1. I won't go into why. But here, then the pictures are some of the house guests. Some are still there, some are not. And I took on this role because I felt like it just went perfect with what I do already. I was also juggling three jobs at one time. I tried working for another company part-time, but the 3 jobs was just not panning out for me. My personal life, despite my career, and I volunteer, I give my time, to churches or toy drives or whatever the case may be. I always make sure that I make time for my friends and my family. And these are my little fur babies. I don't know if you can see, I don't know if you can see them up here, but these are my 3 little fur babies up here. The first one's Lily's, the middle one is Goaty, and the last one is Hopper. He's my baby. Some more about my personal life. In 2020, I did a conference, and this in the pink shirt and the pink background is the conference that they presented me. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm holding it in my hand. This is where they presented me with my book, congratulated me. And then, just doing some volunteer work, trying to keep myself busy, trying to spread my love and my time to help out others. Another big part of my life, from one addiction to another. So I went from being an addict, I went into overeating. And if you can see in the top left corner, I was really fat. I was like, at one point, I reached 185 pounds. So it went from eating to the other addiction was working out, was bodybuilding. This picture right here where it says Invitational Super Show. This was held in Canada, in Toronto, Canada. And I won 2 competitions. The first competition, I won 2nd place. The second competition, I won 4th place. I've been able to take pictures on the red carpet and just do things beyond what I thought I could ever do. This competition, the Super Show, I was not able to join because when I packed up, bought my tickets, took a plane ride to New York, drove from New York to the border of Canada, and I was denied entrance because I wasn't vaccinated. my beliefs tell me, no, I don't want to be vaccinated, and there's nothing that's going to get me to get vaccinated. Even with my current employer, they gave me an option. You can either take COVID test or once a week or get vaccinated. So because of that, I wasn't able to show off my progress. So I got lazy, and here I am again. I went down to like 120 pounds. Here I am again, like at almost 140. But I just want to say, you know what? I'm not stressing about what I have to eat or how to please my coach, and I'm happy. And I'm happy. Do I need to exercise? Yes, I think we all do. I think we should take walks or stuff. But at this point in my life, I'm happy. I'm not stressed about winning first place. I'm putting me first. And what me first means is putting my mental health first. I want you guys to know that my life is a testament to the power of hard work, resilience, and kindness. My story serves as a reminder that anything is possible with determination and a positive attitude. I hope you've enjoyed this section of my presentation, and I will shoot on to the next. Meeting clients where they're at, peer advocacy and full-service partnership, FSP. Meeting clients where they're at. This presentation will explore how peer advocacy and full-service partnership can better serve clients by addressing clients' needs in a holistic and flexible way. We can help them achieve their goals and improve their quality of life. What is peer advocacy? Peer advocacy involves people with lived experience of mental health or addiction, providing support and guidance to others facing similar challenges. This approach can help clients feel understood and empowered, and can lead to better outcomes in recovery. This other man on here, gentleman, his name is Tommy. He's another peer advocate. He's actually one of the ones that was in the interview process, and is another one that saw something in me. What is FSP? FSP is a model of care that provides comprehensive and integrated services to clients, including mental health treatment, housing, and other supportive services. This approach recognizes that clients' needs are often interconnected and require a coordinated response. Benefits of peer advocacy. Peer advocacy can provide a range of benefits to clients, including increased sense of connection and support, improved self-esteem and confidence, better access to resources and services, and greater empowerment and self-determination. Benefits of FSP. FSP can provide a range of benefits to clients, including improved mental health outcomes, reduced hospitalizations and emergency room visits, increased housing stability, and improvements of quality of life. Sorry. And then we have, this will be our last slide, client struggles and successes. So building rapport is important to help clients overcome their struggles and strive for success. Most clients are used to getting tossed around from one therapist to another, one sober living house to another, and it can become very frustrating and stressful. Sorry, you guys. And it takes a toll on their mental health. And I know for me, every time that I would be switched therapist or have to constantly go to different homes, it stresses me out and it makes me not even want to continue with therapy. Some of the challenges we face in FSP with clients is struggle number one, securing income. Clients often rely on government assistance such as CalFresh, GR, and CalWorks, to name a few. But these can be difficult to secure if client is an immigrant, has issues focusing, doesn't have proper identification, or misses interviews with caseworkers. Struggle number two, identification. Most times than not, when my clients come out of jail or a hospital, they're without ID. Without an ID, you start becoming limited of what you can do. Sometimes when we get an immigrant with no documentation, the resources are even more limited than those who are US citizens. Not having an ID can and most oftentimes does cause my clients anxiety, stress, and depression. Struggle number 3, housing. Let me get this out of the way. Securing housing for clients can be very difficult at times for several reasons. The client doesn't qualify. The client is being choosy about where they want to lay their heads. There's a lack of money, resources, and government funding, or a lot of times they just don't have no motivation. Some of the clients don't understand that funds run out and often expect us to place them in the Hampton Inn. Like, not literally, but you get what I'm saying. In some cases, a client would rather be homeless and sleep on the streets than to take what is available. So this is success number 1. Permanent affordable housing is a type of housing that is designed to remain affordable for low and moderate income households indefinitely. This means that even as the housing market fluctuates and the cost of living increases over time, the price of these homes will remain stable and affordable for their occupants. Clients are able to create permanent affordable housing by applying for low-income housing such as Section 8. And I've assisted quite a few clients with applying for Section 8, sober living, and board and cares. Success number 2, identification. Clients are able to receive a discount voucher for an ID through DPSS for those who qualify. With proper identification, individuals can prove their identity and establish their eligibility for these services: employment, education, healthcare, and social welfare programs. Many times I have seen clients obtain their ID and move on to do great things for themselves. The conclusion. Combining peer advocacy and FSP can lead to a more effective and client-centered approach in mental health and addiction services by providing flexible support. Peer support specialists are valuable in the recovery process despite the challenges and risks they face. With proper support and resources, clients have had successes in obtaining permanently affordable housing and acquiring an ID to help with mental health goals, despite facing challenges such as limited funding and legal hurdles, making them an increasingly important asset for the community as the need for peer grows. So on that, let me stop share. I want to thank you all for being here and for listening. And I haven't been able to look in the chat. I will now. But if there's any of you that would like to, express your experiences, talk about, what you've gone through as a peer or as a case manager, I would like for you to go ahead and please share if you feel comfortable. No, nobody. Does anybody have any questions? No questions.
Hi, Jesse. How are you?
Hi, Beverly. I am blessed and highly favored. How are you?
Oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm so glad that you're able to maintain your own self-care and learn how to get through those different struggles. I'm sorry that you went through that. I'm glad that now that you're in a stable place, you have your own housing. That is wonderful. That's phenomenal. I hands off to you. Hands off to you for that. My question was, how do you continuously to engage your clients? I know that's one of my challenges, as we give them those phone calls, their first contact, and they say, yeah, I'm gonna call you back, or you have to constantly call them and then you get the voicemail all the time. So how do you get past that barrier of engagement?
So they say that a way to a man's heart is through their stomach. So whenever I have an O&E, outreach and engagement with my clients, it's with the therapist, myself, and a case manager. When I go by myself, I take them somewhere to like Starbucks, ask them what their restaurant they like to eat, like McDonald's, or, and get them comfortable, let them eat. And I'm very transparent. I don't hide anything about myself, not even to the men, my male clients. I share everything about myself. If it's in according to, you know, what they're going through, I make sure that I share. Um, and I want to make sure that they feel comfortable to share their secrets and to share what their mental health struggles are, their mental health goals. And more oftentimes than not, when I open up about myself and just be transparent with them, and of course work through their stomach or their favorite drink, they tend to open up. I haven't had very many clients of mine in the last 2 years that haven't been very open with me. There's been I would like to say like 3 clients of mine that would rather open up to me than their case manager or their therapist. And it's because I am transparent with them, because I don't hold nothing back. And it's just compassion and understanding and just meeting them where they're at. I have a client that's been getting high for 2 years, but he's getting better. You know, he does it less and less and less often. So I just make sure to just be mindful that I was once in that position and nobody was there for me, you know? So I'm going to make sure that I do everything that I can to be there for somebody, even if it's after hours and somebody needs to talk, you know, if somebody needs a ride to the hospital, I'm there. I make sure that I'm there for them.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
I hope it was helpful, Beverly, and thank you for joining. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any feedback? Anybody would like to share anything? I would like to say one more thing is I have a couple of colleagues here, and I also have my supervisor here, and you guys don't know what it means to me to have the support. And I just hats off to my supervisor. Like, I've never had one disagreement with her. We've never had no downfalls, no arguments, no nothing in over 2 years, and super supportive. And I have a very hard time connecting with women. And she's been nothing but a sweetheart to me and super supportive. And I hope I'm not putting you on blast, but I'm going to say your name. And I appreciate you, Chenna, and I love you. And you too, Sally, and you too, Stella. I love you guys so much. And thank you for accepting me for who I am and dealing with me. I love you guys. It looks like I didn't think I was going to take the whole hour, honestly. I thought that I was going to have a lot of time left. But if you guys don't have anything else, I want to thank you very much. Thank you, Chenna. I want to thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you guys. I wish you blessings upon blessings on your journey. And if you need, I didn't put, let me see. I know I have to get off right now, and I'm sorry. Let me just put my number and my email in the chat. If you guys want to reach out, if you have any questions, sometimes you just might need girl time. Sometimes you might just need, you know, sometimes somebody to hang out with, just to go have a Starbucks coffee to unwind. I can be that girl. There's my cell number. That's my personal cell. And you're all so welcome. I appreciate you guys, and you all have a blessed day and take care.